देवी पूज्य पद कमल तुम्हारे, सुर नर मुनि सब होए सुखारे। देवी पूज्य पद कमल तुम्हारे, सकल मनोरथ सुफल हमारे। जय श्री अम्बे जय जगदम्बे, जय श्री अम्बे जय जगदम्बे। श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ, श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ, श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ। जय श्री अम्बे।
Gradually, my stays in the ashram got longer and longer, months at a time. By mid-1980s, I was living in Kainchi. Till now, my time with Ma had been limited to either meeting her during the day in the darshan room, in a somewhat formal setting, or the few treasured moments with her at dawn and in the summer nights when I was staying at the ashram for short stretches. Now that I was in Kainchi all the time, little by little I got woven into the spiritual fabric of life in the ashram, and I began to observe the minutiae of Ma's daily routine. Ma would be out on the temple courtyard before the break of dawn. I would quietly watch her doing parikrama of Maharajji's temple while it was still dark. Not wanting to disturb, I would stand at a distance as she circumambulated a tall figure in white, barefoot, with a shawl carelessly draped around her shoulders. It was as though Ma was almost twirling around Maharaji's mandir, swiftly, lightly. Before the appearance of daylight, she would have visited all the temples. For many, this would be their first darshan of Ma that day. The devotees who lived in the ashram would be sitting in various corners, a few by the pillars, a few by Maharaji's takhat, immersed in their morning prayers, when Ma would stop by them and speak a word or two to each one. They would, in turn, offer their pranams to her. Afterwards, Ma would withdraw into the inner rooms of the ashram for a brief A lota of chai from the kitchen would be waiting for her and Choti Mataji in their kuti. Then Ma would take her bath. Immediately after, Ma would go to Maharajji's kuti. Choti Mataji told me that once, years ago, Maharajji was sitting on his takhat and Ma, Jivanti Ma, and a few other ladies were sitting on the floor around him. Ma wore her hair in a simple braid those days and always kept her head covered with her dhoti. Maharajji slowly leaned over and unbraided Ma's hair. Since that day, Ma never did her hair, nor did she use a comb herself. One or the other of the ashram ladies would comb her hair when the opportunity arose. Inside Maharajji's kuti, Ma would spend a few minutes doing puja to a photograph of his feet. She would apply chandan and kumkum, and then she would place a single rose petal gently upon the toes. The little red petal, the way it was offered, and the expression on her face, every bit of this small gesture reflected the depth of her love. Soon after, Choti Mataji took over and continued the rest of the puja in Maharajji's kuti. During this time, Ma would sit in the veranda and arrange roses along with the honeysuckle creepers in glass jars which were used as improvised vases. These would be placed in Baba's room in front of his pictures. While arranging the flowers, Ma would also meet a few of the elderly ladies of the ashram and members of the staff to gently guide them on specific things that had to be done in the ashram that day. Time for the morning darshan nigh, Ma would make a quick round of the ashram kitchen. There, while rolling out puris, the ladies would be singing old traditional bhajans in their melodious voices. Dhanya Dhanya Badri, they would sing sometimes, or Jagdamba Bhavani Ai Mere Angna. At other times, it would be the Hanuman Chalisa or the repeated chanting of Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Their voices would carry in the breeze and waft around the inner chambers of the ashram. By now, people would have started congregating in the veranda outside the meeting room, and after partaking of a small bal bhog, both the mothers would proceed there. For the next few hours, that little darshan room was the hub of much activity, many comings and goings. A few ladies would volunteer to organize the streams of visitors if it got very crowded. The two mothers would spend most of their morning here, meeting people. Sometimes a few devotees lingered till as late as 2:30 p.m., wishing to have more time with her, maybe even a one-on-one conversation, and only after the last devotee left would Ma withdraw inside. In the ashram, after the food prasad had been offered in the temples, Ma and Choti Mataji's bhog was brought down to the Dudh Kaksh once at mid-morning around 11:30 am and once at 7:30 pm in the evening. In this room, a square metal stove was kept in which a fire burned through the day, smouldering with round balls made of clay, cow dung and burnt coal. In Kanchi, this fuel is called guptol. The steel containers that bore food for the mothers, originally from Maharajji's old hot case, were placed on the embers to keep the food warm. Ma had no set time to take her meals. It all depended on the devotees who wanted to meet her. Sometimes Choti Mataji, who might have left the darshan room to attend to other matters, would send a message to her via a few of us asking Ma to come in and take lunch prasad. But to no avail. It was only after all had left that Ma would get up. Smiling, almost apologetically, she would say, "देख तो, मैं क्या करूं? लोग इतनी दूर से महाराज जी के लिए प्रेम से आते हैं, आने में कष्ट सहते हैं, इतना पैसा खर्चते हैं, उनसे मुझको मिलना पड़ेगा। See, what can I do? People come from far and wide with love for Maharaj Ji. They go through such difficulties and spend so much time, so much money to come here. I must meet them." By now, the time would be around 2:30 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Sometimes the rice would become brittle and the rotis crisp and hard. Ma liked to mix everything in her thali together and then eat it. She liked curd and she had a distinct fondness for sweets. She enjoyed the kheer made in the bhandara, sometimes the halwa prasad too. Occasionally, she would ask for a small piece of jaggery after her meals, especially in the cold winter days. Ma's most favorite sweet, right from her childhood, was jalebi with dahi. Together, the two mothers would savor the prasad in silence. After that, they were to retire to their kuti for an hour or so. In the late afternoon, Choti Mataji and Ma would walk around the ashram, sit in the inner garden area or on the steps of the Yagyashala. Many, seeking an opportunity to be around Ma, would gather nearby now. Some would help pick dry leaves in the garden, some might wash Maharajji's rock or clear weeds. Sometimes the chosen spot would be by the perennial spring at the back of the ashram, and soon there would be a little group hit there. Ma would talk about the sanctity of that water, and everyone would be inspired to clear the space, remove the twigs and leaves, and help restore the proper flow of water. As dusk fell, the mothers would walk to the kitchen area, where the ladies would be preparing vegetables for the night. They would sit with them and join in shrinking beans or peeling potatoes. Often, there were far too many ladies for a small quantity of vegetables. The charm for all of them was the opportunity to be with Ma and to listen to her words. Light conversation would ensue and many a lesson would be imparted. Ma always emphasized on purity of thought and the importance of taking God's name while preparing food. Evening Aarti would be at 6 p.m. and the mothers would go into their room. The rest of us would attend the evening prayers in the temples. Later in the night, when the dinner bell rang, we would all have the evening meal in the dining hall. Ma and Choti Mataji would go to the Dudh Kaksh to partake of Bhog Prasad. Maharaj Ji had once said, "Amma, सब आहार दूषित हो जाएगा, रामदाना ही शुद्ध बचेगा। तू और मैं रामदाना खाएंगे। अम्मा, all food will get contaminated one day. Only Ramdana will remain pure. You and I will have Ramdana. And so, Ma would take a little bit of Ramdana with milk after dinner every night. After the evening prayers and before the mothers retired for the night, the elderly ladies of Kenchi would gather in the carpet room. Choti Mataji and Ma would join them there. They would all share stories of Maharajji, of their experiences with him, and anecdotes from their pilgrimages. Sometimes there would be gentle laughter. The protocol that governed the ashram during the day faded, and a feeling of joyful camaraderie took over. Youngsters, such as myself, would remain on the margins, but we too enjoyed the sense of freedom that crept into the room and felt ourselves a part of this very ethereal gathering. This is when I got to hear from the old ladies that often when they sat with Maharajji, he would tell them to go inside to Ma, saying, "Mai ke paas jao, Ram se adhik Ram kar dasa." Go sit with Mai. Greater than Ram is the servant of Ram.
मनोरथ सफल हमारे। जय श्री अम्बे जय जगदम्बे, जय श्री अम्बे जय जगदम्बे। श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ, श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ, श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ। जय जय श्री अम्बे जय जगदम्बे, जय श्री अम्बे जय जगदम्बे। श्री माँ जय माँ जय